Fishing Gurus is brought to you in association with Daiwa.
Hello and welcome to a brand new series of Fishing Gurus. My name's Dean Mason, we're here at Brook Hall just outside Tiptree in Essex, and boy have we got a couple of cracking shows lined up for you. 2 years ago we arranged a Carp versus match challenge, and over 2 days of hot competition the match boys just pipped it. Well, the Carp boys haven't been able to look at themselves in the mirror over the last couple of years and have been calling a rematch, and the pegs have just been drawn. The boys are just about ready to go, and so ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Carp versus match challenge, part 2.
Captain in the Carp team is Damian Clarke. He's been honing his skills over the last 24 months, and with Carp to over 88 pounds, surely there's no better man qualified for this job. Partner in Damo is Tom, the Dove from above, former BYCAC champ and now renowned big fish angler. With their combined youth and experience, they will definitely be a tough nut to crack. Leading the match challenge is Steve, the Ringmaster Ringer, considered by many to be the best commercial match angler around and reigning World Feeder Championship silver medalist. Will he bring the circus to town, or will he blow his big top? Partner in Steve is Adam Rooney, one of the best up-and-coming anglers in the country with some very impressive results to his name. Together, they are a formidable force and won't give the title away easily. So those are the teams, and they are ready to rumble. On my mark, 3, 2, 1, all in! Mr. Rooney, the young man of the team. First fish, we've been going probably what? Well, not even 10 minutes yet. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's good. We're just straight over to the weeds. I had signs straight away, pretty much. I've gone back in again, just with a method, just with a bit of corn on the hook. And it went literally instantly, so yeah, great start.
So over to the far bank, how close to the rushes are you?
I'm just fishing about a foot off them at the moment, not too tight, because it's obviously quite snaggy. There's quite a few like individual rushes there, which could cause us a few problems a bit later on, but first one of the day. Well, a bit nerve-wracking.
No pressure, I'll leave it to you, the last bit of the day.
Cheers, mate.
Steve, Adam's just put a fish back and you're straight into one. Are you going to give the Carp boys a battering again?
We've got a chance, obviously. I had a couple of little indications. It was almost like the fish was at the method ball. Yeah. Then it's proper bite.
Oh, last few inches. Well done, mate, well done. I'd be happy with a chub that big. Good man. Adam.
All right,
I saw you just poke your head round the tree and say to Steve, it's Sweet Cool. Sweet Cool's doing the business. And
yeah.
I tell you what, that feeder must have been in what, 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah, not long, mate. So there's fish signs all the time. Your tip's moving all the time. So there's fish moving along that reed line.
Guys,
Well, chaps.
about time actually, because their match boys are starting to put a little bit of a weight together.
Well, how many have they got now?
Well, they've had 3, but the last one was a double.
Right.
That one's, I don't know how big that one is.
5 or 6. We've got a double in the net as
We've got
well.
a double next door. So.
Oh, so you got one
Yeah,
each,
good, yeah,
waiting to go.
Right, do you want to get out of the way, Damian?
Well, I've got to be honest, if there was one man you'd put your money on in the match team to bring home the bacon, I would have said it was Steve. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you are really getting off to a flying start. 3rd fish on. Be honest, when Steve took that corner peg, did you think, oh no?
Not really. We sort of did it to suit our styles of fishing, really. Me being left-handed, I play my fish a lot to the left. So with the reed line on your left could be a mess. So
you're working as a team?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So we've got plans.
That weren't the plan though, was it? Get back out there, son, unlucky. Adam, 5 minutes ago, mate.
Yeah.
I was here. Didn't end good.
No.
Go on, last couple of foot. In you go. Nice one. Adam Rooney is doing the business. Steve, I've been standing up there with my heart in my mouth, mate. It's tried to go in all of these rushes over to your left-hand side. Does it feel a decent fish?
It feels deep. It doesn't feel massive. It just feels, I think it might be like a long, lean fish because it's really moving around really quick. As you said, I hooked it straight in front of me and then it kited straight to the left.
They are fighting really hard underneath your rod tip. What sort of depth you got there?
You've got sort of 3 or 4 foot.
Oh, right, good one.
It's reasonable depth.
With regards to, I mean, it has done, I don't know how many there are, but it has done fish over 20 pounds. So have you stepped your gear up specifically for this sort of type of fishing, or?
No, not massively. I mean, we're quite used, like being a match angler, a lot of the venues I fish have got sort of carp 5 to 10 pound. So we are used to dealing with that size of fish. The only difference is with this swim is the amount of features you've got. With that big rush line, the rush is opposite, you just haven't got a lot of room to work with. So it's like, once you've got them under your feet, you're fine, but that first sort of 30 seconds when you hook them, you've got to get them clear of those rushes or they're going to be gone.
Steve, this ain't good for me, mate. I'm running up and down the bank between the both of you, but this is second fish in quite quick succession.
Yeah, two in two chucks. I've just had that nice fish, 8 pound, just cast it back out, 2 or 3 little twitches, all dropped back slack, picked it up, and this is the result.
Same spot, right tight to the far bank?
Yeah, it's probably took it into about 18 inches, 2 foot of water. I think, in theory, the more we cast over there, get the pellets over there, the more fish should hopefully move into the area. The wind's pushing down here now as well, so things are looking good.
Yeah, when this sun comes out, it really does look good. And you're actually feeding 2 or 3 different areas as well as just fishing that one at the start as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm feeding in the corner to my left, right in the corner of the rushes. I'll be able to see if any fish come there, so I can drop on them quick. Then I'm feeding a bomb line right in the middle of the rush bed. I know there's fish there now because I can see the rushes knocking. And then I've got my method line straight opposite me, so we've got plenty of options.
Well, I would say you have, because just on the other side of that tree, Adam Rooney has just landed another fish. So, I mean, the Carp boys gave you this end for the first day, hoping that you'd spook the fish out. It doesn't seem that way, does it, at the moment?
Well, hopefully we'll spook them out, so when we're in the middle tomorrow, they'll all be sat there.
I like your plan. Good luck, mate. Tom, you Carp boys just don't know when to lie down and take it, do you?
Well, no, not really. They've just started catching up down there, so we thought we need to get a few more in. We recast and both got bites straight away, so
yeah,
I've got another rod in the water as well, which is always good, isn't it?
2 on at once, and that is a pretty decent fish as well. Are you getting any liners, any indications that there's fish moving through?
Not at all, no. I've just started spodding on my left-hand rod, which is the one that's gone, and this is the first one on it, so hopefully I'll get this in, put a few more spods out and just see if I can get them going down that left-hand side.
So we've been going a couple of hours now, and the last 10 minutes has been a little bit slow, but it's hard to imagine the first hour and a half being any better for you guys.
No, yeah, we had a great start. Fished pretty much every put-in. I think we've got about 9 now, so I think we're slightly ahead. Yeah, it's looking good at the moment.
Tell us how you've attacked this match.
And basically we decided to fish method feeder. We're using the small X-safe methods with the long elastic tubes in, so we've got a little bit of extra stretch for the bigger fish.
Right.
And then basically we've got raspberry plume pellets, which are soaked very, very high intense in fruity flavour, ideal. And then I've got a heavily glugged corn twist.
That is the yellowest corn I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
Smells awesome too.
It's been brilliant, yeah, we've been using it for a little while now. You can literally just tip it straight on your corn.
Have you done that today, or did you do it pre-soak it last night?
No, I did it when I got here this morning.
Pucker.
Put it in a bag, give it a good shake, and it's ready to go.
Nice one.
Awesome.
And what about the feeder? How are you loading up
The feeder, basically, I'll go from the start, filling the feeder up with pellets.
Right.
Good squeeze. Just put first nice firm layer on,
Right,
so that's ready to go. And then all I'm doing is I'm putting a softer layer on top just to keep the hook back, because we're chucking to reeds and that, want it all kept intact.
Is that a normal thing that you do? Fish like a red pellet with a bright yellow corn over the top, like a complete contrast?
Sometimes, on venues where basically today we didn't know what it was going to be, so we wanted our hook baits to be visible, not feeding a great deal to start with, so we just want it to stand out, you know, so it's a good contrast. And we're doing another little trick as well. I'll just show you. Put this first layer on. Not as heavy the second layer, so you want that to break down nice and quick.
So 2 sort of skins?
2 skins, yeah. The first layer will break down, show your hook bait off, and then the second layer will break down afterwards.
Right, okay.
And then the final little trick.
What's this trick? Go on.
Tutti frutti goo. Quick squeeze along there.
And that doesn't come off or anything like that?
No, not when you cast. You can give it a little rub in, which I like to do, and that creates a massive cloud in the swim.
God, dear oh dear, is that human grade? That smells awesome. And
Really
did you make like 3 or 4 casts on the spot at the start just to get a little bit of bait in there, or did you just go straight in and leave it?
No, we've just gone in and sort of let it do its own work. So
really?
We not knowing how many fish are in here, we didn't want to overfeed them from the start, so we've just gone little and often and just nicked fish. Yeah.
Lots of signs, or just
not many signs. You usually get a sign when the fish is in your swim. Obviously, the more it's going in, we're getting more signs now. So yeah.
Well, it's obviously working. You've got 9, they've got 5. There's a long way to go, but keep it going, son. The last 2 fish I've seen you have from the far margin, they've gone straight through that rush spot. Do you think that's spooking them at all?
Yeah, it's not helping. All the time, there's a massive rush bed to my left.
Yeah.
I can see fish moving all the time in those rushes. It's just they don't really want to come out of them because they feel safe. But by sort of keep feeding those 8 mils up against the rushes and then just dropping on it every now and again and just nicking a fish.
Are you still fishing? Yeah, I can see the XA feeder. That was the answer to my next question. Do you think that actually plays a big part? Because you're chucking quite close to the rushes, there could be a little bit of debris, some dead leaves on the bottom. Those flat method feeders, I mean, they just sit nicely on top and present a perfect bait, don't they?
Yeah, they offer like what I call the dinner plate effect. So your pellets are just sat there with a hook bait ready on a plate for that carp to come along like this one did.
Superb. Well, that is a fantastic specimen. I've got to be honest, you match boys at the moment are in the flying pegs and you're making the most of it. Join us after the break in a few minutes to see if the carp boys can come back. Whatever way, it should be a cracker.
Fishing Gurus is brought to you in association with Daiwa.
Well, welcome back. We did wonder whether the carp boys could put a little bit of a burst in on the second half of the show. Tom, you started off really well.
I think so, yeah. I think it's probably our 7th fish now. I don't know how many they've caught now, I'm not sure.
A few.
10, yeah, not too many. But yeah, no, it's gone quiet for about an hour now. I just moved spots again and just had another bite. So as long as we can keep trickling them in.
Was this over the spotted area that you started putting a bit of gear out earlier on?
It wasn't, no. This is the rod that hasn't gone yet. So this is the first fish on this rod. The spotted area's gone a bit quiet for a little while.
So in your heart of hearts, do you really think you're going to make it close?
Yeah, I reckon we'll smash them up tomorrow, mate.
Good man, I'll leave you to it.
Nice one.
So Steve, we talked about the rigs with Adam. Tell us about the baits, because you've never seen this venue before. It's fair to say slightly different to what you usually fish?
Yeah, it is a bit different. I don't think it's as heavily stocked as some of the waters I fish, but there's still a good head of fish, and they are really good looking fish as well.
And, well, I've got to say, from my perspective, it seems like you've brought everything and the kitchen sink with regards to bait here. Pellet-based, obviously, because, let's face it, everything eats pellet. But talk us through what you've brought and what you take to any venue in the UK.
Right, it's all about sort of hedging your bets. When you don't know the venue, you can't really go with a preconceived idea. Well, the first thing I've done today is look at the watercolour. Although it looks coloured, it's actually a little bit clearer than what I expected. So what I've done is I've got some 2mm coarse micros.
I've had a smell of them as well. They've got quite a few different smells.
All I've done is I've glugged them in Activate and Raspberry Plume. So what I've done is made them a little bit brighter, a bit more visual.
Right.
So when there's carp moving about, they're going to stand out a little bit better on the bottom, particularly in clear water.
That's what you're putting on your feeder, is it?
Yeah, I'm moulding those around my method, and then I'm fishing what I call a bright, if I can just pick one out, a really bright high-vis hook bait over the top.
Yeah, that is
so in the
bright.
clear water, fish drawn to the pellets, first thing they see is that little fluoro, pink, yellow, orange bottom bait sat on the top, suck it in, and you get quick bites as a result.
Have you found any preference today? Because I know Adam's favouring the corn all the way through.
Orange and yellow, you know what I mean? It's just bright colours. It's just standout baits. It's just typical of this time of year when the fish haven't massively got their heads down, but they are just starting to eat a little bit coming out of winter.
Right. There's a few tubs of standard pellet here, but there's 1 or 2 tubs of pellet that you've obviously done something funky to.
Yeah, starting with the standard pellets, I would never go any commercial fishery any time of year, apart from the depths of winter, without some hard 8mm pellets.
Right.
And all I like to do is just pick an area out the way, so it's not sort of interfering with main lines. You just ping 3 or 4 hard 8mm sort of every couple of minutes throughout the session. And what that'll do is the plip-plop of those pellets just gives me a chance to try and pull a few fish in. They associate the noise on this sort of water of hard pellets going in with food. So even when it's cold, like we're just coming out of winter now, they just feeding little and often, they'll still come to that noise.
I noticed you doing that this morning. The first cast you actually went over those pellets after about, an hour of feeding? You had a pull straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a pull straight away. That was actually A little trick I use, if I just show you the two pellets. The pellets in my right hand,
Right.
those ones there are actually the same as the ones in my left hand. All I've done is pumped them using a pellet pump.
Right.
Pumped them 3 times, and I've just left them to stand in just enough water to cover them, so they're what I call blown up.
Right.
Then I've just glugged them in a little bit of pineapple smoke.
I was going to say, so they're slightly flavoured.
Yeah.
They're obviously softer. They still sink.
Still sink, yeah, and you just herring them and just pushing a needle through them.
And after what, half an hour of them being on the bottom, that's what they'd look like.
Yeah. So any carp that, when they see a lot of hard pellets, once they've been on the bottom a little while, they become what I call blown up.
Right.
When they've been blown up, I think carp regard them as a lot safer bait to eat.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. By chucking that out straight away, gives the carp the impression it's been on the bottom 25, 30 minutes already and is therefore safe.
And you're absolutely happy fishing a pellet on the feeder as well as the bright boilie if they come into it? When would you change?
If I was getting a lot of little taps and knocks, which I'm not getting on the tip at the minute,
Right.
I'd switch to like a 6mm hard pellet, bury it in the ball, and it's what I call a blending bait.
Yeah.
So the fish would suck it in, almost thinking it was the microbes
That's
around
it.
the feeder.
Match the hatch sort
Yeah,
of thing.
whereas at the minute I'm looking for one fish to come in, it's coming over that method ball, and the first thing it sees, bright visual bait, sucks it in, fish off.
Now, Tom, we're in the last third of the match,
We
and
are.
in fairness, the match guys down the other end, in the flyer that we thought was going to be producing the most fish,
Yeah.
have done the business so far.
Yeah, we knew that was going to do that, didn't we?
But you started to turn it on its head. You haven't had any off the top yet, but you started feeding them, and they're responding.
Yeah, I mean, that we heard that they'd been feeding up the top up the other end, so not where Ringer and that are,
Yeah.
but the other end. So Damian's poulted some out and they've started feeding straight away. So he's getting his rod ready, and I'm carrying on with the poulting.
What about this wind? Because it is blowing from right to left.
Yeah.
The match guys are about 50 yards down to your left.
Yeah.
And if them pellets do drift all the way down, we've got a couple of hours to go. That could be the best decision you've ever made, or the worst decision you've ever made.
I think the key thing is to do just put out enough so they're eating them by the time they've drifted past us, and then keep poulting up to the right hand side. So as long as we keep them in this sort of 20-yard area, we should be all right. Yeah, I just don't put out too many. So
Well, you need 4 or 5 fish, and there's probably a dozen out there that we can see at any one time. So, mate, they are in front of you. Now it's just down to you.
Let's give it a go.
No pressure. Well, Damian, first
All right.
blood off the surface.
Yep, straight away pretty much.
I've got to say, actually, you got them going on the top, and then your bottom rod ripped off.
Yeah, that went
which is a little bit sort of not what you was after, but it's coming good now.
It is, mate, yeah. I mean, there were so many fish out here, I just put the floater rod back straight out to try and, make the most of the situation. And had a bite straight away.
This wind is definitely playing a part, though, isn't it? Because
It
the
is.
first time you this is only your second cast with a controller,
Yeah,
but
it
with
is.
that wind pushing from right to left, it looked like it was on a river, to be honest.
Well, it did, yeah, and it was obviously pushing the bait down towards Steve and Adam.
Yeah.
But they've stayed up here. Tom's carried on putting the bait out, and they're still out here.
I'll tell you what, they also, quite a lot of the times, they say the bigger fish come off the surface, and that's a decent stamp fish in comparison to what you've been having, isn't
It
it?
is, mate, yeah, nice little mirror. Yeah, it's good.
Damian, 3 casts on the floating gear, 2 fish, well, 1 in the net, 1 on the line. This one looks even better stamped than
Yeah,
the
it
last
does,
one.
yeah.
Tom has literally just seconds ago landed one from the bottom as well, from the far bank. Your swims are coming alive this last couple of hours.
They are, yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just the floating pellets. I mean, it's a shallow lake. One of the locals said they love a floater, so we tried it, and it certainly is going to change our fortunes, I think.
Do you think that's just woken them up, started moving them around, and because of that they're starting to get their heads down? Because you've had a fish off the bottom since you started spraying the floating pellets. Tom's just had one off the deck, and there does seem to be fish topping everywhere, and this morning we never saw anything.
No, I mean, the pellets have changed our fortunes completely. They've just come up to the surface and they're taking the baits. Where we're both fishing on the bottom, we're nowhere near where the floaters are. So I don't know really. I think it's just one of those lakes that's got a lot of fish in. Floating baits, obviously very popular with the locals, and very successful because it's such a shallow lake.
A tactic you're going to try and keep to yourself before.
Hopefully, yeah. But,
it's going to be difficult to keep it away from the guys.
Of course it is, yeah.
Between now and tomorrow, isn't it?
but we're down the other end tomorrow, which is the better end of the lake, I think, because the massive amount of reed beds that hold the fish down there. So, it gives us a real shout.
You say that, I'll tell you what, I've been down there a lot. I've not seen anywhere near as the amount of fish as this, and that looks like a good fish, mate. And it's in the net, nice and safe hands. That might put you in the lead. If not, it's definitely closed the gap, big time.
Excellent.
Well done. So, Tom,
Yeah.
what's the situation, mate?
Put me rig in the tree, Dean.
In fairness, I just wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Oh, it's
but
a
the
nightmare.
good news, that's bad news. The good news is you've just stormed into the lead over the last hour.
Yep.
You've made up like a £40 deficit or something like that.
Yep.
You're on 107. The boys down the other end are on 99.
Right,
that
'cause
must feel
cut-
good
cut
with
the
about an
fish.
hour and a half to go.
It does, mate, yeah, especially because we thought we had the worst swim today. So I think we've done well, especially this afternoon. It's all going well.
We've all been sitting behind the camera saying this is a brave move or a stupid move. Actually, at this moment in time with these fish still feeding and you two on the surface,
Yeah.
it looks like a very, very brave and wise move.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we've been lucky that we've been able to get them on the surface this afternoon, but we didn't think we was going to have this chance. But as we've got it, we may as well take it, and then hopefully go into the better swims tomorrow and take the lead.
Well, with 90 minutes to go, the Carp boys have certainly got the bit between their teeth, and Steve and Adam's swims certainly have dried up in the last hour anyway. But, Steve, I've got good and bad news. Which one do you want first?
The bad.
Bad news is you are behind with 90 minutes to go.
What's the good then?
The good news is that you always come on strong in the last 90 minutes, so I've got faith in you, big man.
It's not looking good. To be honest, we're not happy.
No?
Floating baits.
No, that's not a given thing in your sort of line of work most of the time, is it?
No.
Floating baits are not allowed.
We're not allowed in, I should say 99.9% of the matches we fish, no floating baits, so bit of a tuck up.
So you disapprove of the tactics being used by Tom and Damian?
I'm sitting here with a sulk on now.
This is only half of the match. We've got another one tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got room tomorrow, so obviously they've got, although we're in the corner with the wind blowing in, I feel as though we've caught what's here almost, and now there's very little left, so the same could happen tomorrow. They could get a good start, and then we could overhaul them.
Well, fingers crossed for the match, boys, but like I said, 90 minutes to go, and it is very, very tight. Well, we promised you a good match at the start of the day. Even I didn't think it was going to be this close at the last knock-ins. Damo, how do you think it went? Because, to all intents and purposes, you gave the best peg away at the start of the day, hoping that it sort of reap the rewards tomorrow.
Well, we did. That was Dubby's idea, that one. See what we could claw back tomorrow if we were, well behind. Going into the match, I think we were the proper underdogs on a venue like this, so we were well pleased to have beaten the pair of them.
Steve, you two got off to an absolute flyer this morning, but these guys have pegged you back a little bit towards the latter stage of the match. How do you think it's gone for you?
Yeah, to be honest, obviously we've been in the corner, and it's typical corner peg fishing. We've caught what's there, and then we've been left sort of fishless in the last 3 hours. Tomorrow we've got us in open water, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I've got the official results at the halfway point, professionally written on my hand. Steve, you're on £114.13. Damo, you're on £119.5. So effectively, there's just one fish in it.
Yeah, really close.
Feel confident for tomorrow?
Yeah, we're well confident. Yeah, we know what we're going to do.
Good lad. Well, even I don't know what's going to turn out tomorrow. It's going to be a good one, it's going to be tight, and I suggest you tune into the next show. I certainly am. But until then, get the rods out and enjoy your fishing.
Fishing Gurus is brought to you in association with Daiwa,